morning. My name is Sarah Wheeler. I'm a public information officer with Great Basin Team 7. As you know, the other team transitioned out. We transitioned it on Saturday, and so we are very, it's always not the best circumstances, but happy to be in your community. When we were transitioning with the other team, they were very optimistic about everything you had done. They talked very well of this community, saying you guys were wonderful, pragmatic, kind, and definitely helping each other and the team. And so that's something I just want to commend you for. It's not always easy when you're living in one of these very long duration incidents. And I know you guys see fire in the landscape all the time, but it's still always hard. So as you guys know, the Wapiti fire started in July by lightning. It's been ongoing for quite a while now. And as our latest infrared shows, it's about 116,000 acres in size. And as you know, like a lot of stuff is burning up kind of in that middle, but we are kind of working through it, looking at what the other team did, looking at where we can have the most success, and seeing how we can get you guys back in your homes as quickly as possible. So when I talked to Chief Rico about like, how do you want to set up this meeting, he's like, let's be practical. Right? People want to know who, what, when, how, and how you're going to get this done. And so that's how we've kind of tried to set up this meeting. And so I just wanted to give you kind of a rundown of how it's going to go, who we're going to be able to listen to, and then the opportunities we're going to have for kind of questions and answers. And then keeping with how the last team ran stuff, we will have maps in the back where we can really target on some of those geographical areas, and you guys can ask questions of how that's affecting you and what that might mean for your future. So with that being said, we will start out with our fire business analyst, Nick, and he is going to talk about kind of the fire behavior, stuff we're seeing, stuff we expect to see, and then he's going to go over a little bit of this general weather outlook and how that might play into fire activity this week. And following him, we'll have Brett Loomis will come. He's our Deputy Operations Section Chief. He'll talk about the operational tactics that we've been using, what we'd like to do, and then tie into how this weather might affect kind of the strategies that we're taking in the future. Following Brett, Jake from Idaho Power is here to talk a little bit about the power, let you know kind of how they're going to be handling things. And then we'll hear from Chief Rico. And then Sheriff Turner's going to be around to answer questions in the back, but he's going to pass on like hearing himself speak in the mic, and I don't blame him. I totally understand. So agency administrators will be next, and then we'll go from there. All right, so Nick.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nick Jarris. I am a fire behavior analyst trainee with this team. And I will first try and step in here for the incident meteorologist. So here, up on the...
Kind of intimate with it.
Okay.
Close and personal.
Like
sports. Okay. Yeah, like an ice cream. Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Okay. On the wall back there, you can see there's a weather outlook matrix for folks in the back. Up front, we have it up here on the TV screen. So I'm just going to go over just the general fire parameters. Looking into tomorrow, September 9th, we're looking at real warm temperatures again. 76 degrees, minimum humidities of 17%. And then overnight, those relative humidities are going to only drop down to 38%, and that is going to be at those high elevation ridges up where the fire is currently burning. The valleys will see much higher humidity recovery there, adding moisture to those fuels at nighttime. The wind speed's going to be coming out of the southwest, generally 14 miles per hour with gusts up to 22. No chance of rain in the forecast for tomorrow. Moving on to Tuesday, September 10th, we're going to have 50% cloud cover, temperatures 74, minimum relative humidity 18%, and then those relative humidity recovery at night is still going to be very, very low at 37%. Those 20-foot wind speeds are going to kick up tomorrow. That's going to be the big change in the weather. They're going to gust up to 27 miles per hour out of the southwest. With that, Lowman is southwest of there, and southwest means those those winds are going to come from the southwest and blow to the northeast, so they're going to be going away from the community. Looking at Wednesday, there's going to be an 80% chance cloud cover, 63 degrees, minimum RH of 24%, and those recoveries overnight of the humidity is still 39%. And the yellow shading there is showing moderate conditions, with the red showing high intensity burning conditions. So we're going to continue to have those winds, but by Wednesday afternoon, that is when the rains are going to start showing up. There's a 60% chance that day of getting a quarter of an inch of rain, and then a 50% chance of getting a half inch of rain. So there is some hope for some moisture to come in. Then looking into Thursday, the rain should continue into Thursday, looking at an 80% chance of getting a quarter inch of rain. 1/10 of an inch is what we consider a wetting rain. So there's a 80% chance that we're going to get some pretty decent moisture coming in. And then almost a 50% chance of getting a full inch of rain. So that would be a lot of rain. But yeah, operations might talk about some other effects that might have here coming up. But moving on to how these weather conditions are going to affect the fire behavior. Out there right now, those fuel moistures are really dry. So those logs, sticks, the litter, the duff, really dry out there. That's why you're seeing so much smoke being produced, because it's just burning in that material without a lot of wind. So it's really just those fuels that are really contributing that heat and flaming and burning. And generally it's consuming on the ground, especially close here in Cashner Creek, 8 Mile Mountain. The fire is mainly staying on the ground and just spreading, backing down the slope. There are occasional trees torching, so you can see that fire and that flames out there, but generally it's just one or maybe a couple at a time. But the fire is not really progressing too much down the slope. It's been just kind of doing the same weather pattern day after day after day, and operations will get into kind of what they've been doing on that end. You guys are all aware how steep that topography is out there, so those fuels could also have some rollout. So basically, a log could be on fire, burning and hot, and then it could break loose and kind of roll down the hill and start other fires. So that's what the firefighters are out there watching for. The fire is also in Chapman Creek, and they've been doing a lot of work in there, so it's kind of like just held up in there, so that the fire isn't spreading except for the uppermost part of Chapman Creek to the east, up, and it's burning up into the rocks currently. And looking into Tuesday with those increasing winds, well, we're going to see that same fire activity. It's just going to pick up a little more Wednesday as well before the rain. So those winds are going to kick up. You're going to see more smoke being pushed to the northeast and out of the area. And then with that rain, we all know what happens with that it's going to start cooling down the fire and help us out.
Thanks, Nick. And like I said, we'll have some question and answers. So if you have questions on like fire behavior or anything that anyone discusses, if we can save those to the end, that would be great. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brett Loomis. I'm one of the operations section chiefs here on the fire, working with Great Basin Team 7. Pleasure to meet all of you today and get to talk to some of you. I've been out in the communities driving around, trying to meet as many people as I can and seeing what's actually going on in here. I just got here the other day, so I'm just information overload, trying to figure out all the names of these communities and all the road systems and stuff, because we want to be prepared for anything that could come the community's way. Touch on first with the weather, and then I'm going to go around the map and talk about a couple things and what we're doing. The weather concerns us here for the next couple days. we're going to be prepared for anything the fire throws at us. As you all have seen in the communities the last 2 weeks, the amount of firefighters we have in the area. I know some of you might be getting sick of that because there's so many of them, but we are the #1 fire in the nation and have been fortunate to get the resources that we need for this incident. Especially if you look at the map on the east side of the fire, things are looking a lot better over there. So we're starting to get those resources funneled over to here to put as much firefighters over here and equipment as we possibly can to help combat this fire. We are prepared, as I said. We're going to see what happens the next few days. We anticipate it still continuing to burn. The fire moving from up here, making its way back down with those winds. Yes, we won't have the alignment of the winds pushing the fire, but it will still be actively working its way down the drainage and down the highway. That being said, what we're also planning on doing is looking at other opportunities within the communities. I know we've all seen the hose and the pumps and all that stuff out there, but we're also taking up additional opportunities on separate ridge systems to try to keep the fire off of the highway. Right now, we've had crews go in and look at some of those opportunities. Right now, as you all know, and it's just spoken about, the ground is steep, rocky, big trees, that sort of stuff. Not a place we want to put our firefighters in. Hopefully, if we get the weather change that's predicted for the end of this week, we can reevaluate and every option is on the table. Either if we have to, fire around the community, or maybe we get the precip and we actually can send a couple bodies up there to check the edge and fly it with aircraft to see if the fire's out. So everything's is on the table for us. Just going to go around the fire real quick and concentrate on the west side where we're at here. As I said earlier, you can see what we've been doing the last few days. Still adding so much equipment, so much hose, so many people starting to look at opportunities of what we need to do to help the communities here. We're also going to start working our way down the highway, down to the other communities as well. My personal experience, I've been on quite a few fires the last few years. Spent a lot of my time in California, and I don't trust anything. Even weather reports, I've seen fires make some pretty incredible runs, and I want to be prepared for all of you here, going all the way down to Lowman if we have to. Talk a little about the fire activity today. Everything right here with the Kanzner fire scars from 2018. The fires kind of hung up right in there, and we've been using aviation aircraft helicopters. We've had 2 helicopters in there. Good part of this afternoon and a good part of the day because we had clear air, and we've been trying to put this in check from it coming down to the highway. We've been somewhat successful doing that. Now, it's been successful because we haven't had the high winds. Today, stuff's being wind tested, so it's moving a little bit faster down the hill. We're going to continue to put water on that and monitor that and keep our plans updated if it gets to a point where it's going to come down to the highway. As we go up to Warm Springs, the airstrip there, fire's been around that, all looking really good. Chapman Creek area, we brought fire down last night all the way to the highway. That's all looking really good in there. We have a bunch of hotshot crews that have been working in there today. Those hotshot crews are 20-person specialized crews, best of the best to go in and fight these fires. So having them here helping us with all this work has been helping us out tremendously and making us successful. As you go up the highway, of course, the highway goes through the burn. One of our biggest concerns coming towards the end of the week is what that's going to look like with an inch of rain potentially on it and washing out. I have been here in the wintertime. I've snowmobiled quite a bit, and I know how this gets. So as soon as I knew where this fire was, I was like, okay, I know that road. I was definitely concerned about it a little bit, but I'm definitely going to have to take it, see what comes with the precip and everything. And of course, we've been talking, Idaho Department of Transportation is going to be hopefully coming in tomorrow, looking at some areas to fix guardrails in there, fix culverts throughout the week, just so we could hopefully maintain the integrity of that road. Just going around the rest of the fire real quick, we started a little bit of firing operation up here today, doing some stuff to support the Boy Scout camp up there. So if any of your friends or family live up there, that's kind of what's going on. Been successful so far, everything's looking good. And as I said, east side, things are looking really good around Stanley. I'm starting to pull a lot of that equipment out of there, resources and crews, and getting them filtered over to here to help us continue with our pace all the way down the river to help it protect these communities. With that, I'll be here and answer any questions after you have to speak.
All right. A bit close.
Does that work?
Yeah. All right, Jake Perryman. I'm with Idaho Power. I'll keep this short. I don't have a whole lot. Just wanted to make everybody aware. Idaho Power has been following along with the fire management team through cooperator meetings and other meetings daily, just so we're prepared as well. Fire comes through. Luckily, hasn't impacted our system yet, but wanted to be here at this public meeting in case anybody had any questions about what if, or as things move forward, what's Idaho Power going to be doing. Kind of a quick brief on that. We will work very closely with the fire management team, obviously, if fire does impact our system, to get the go-ahead to go in safely to restore service. Just know that we have ample resources ready and waiting. If that were to happen, we could get things back up as quickly as possible, and we'll dedicate a ton of resources, as has everybody else, to this fire. So I'll be here afterward. Just wanted to be here for this public meeting in case there were any questions. Thank you.
Thanks so much, JK. Chief.
Yeah, you don't need to give me the microphone.
I'm gonna hold it for you.
Cassie, you can come hold the microphone. No. So I want to just thank the outgoing team. Most of them are already gone, and the incoming team for the support they're giving us locally here at the fire. My job. Half a dozen of us aren't going to make much of a difference on a fire this size, but they bring 600 people, so thank them for that. You've met some of the CMAT team. They are here to help develop a long-term plan. Not everybody learned their lesson after the Pioneer Fire, or the '89 fire, or the Willis Gulch Fire, or the Rabbit Creek Fire, or you go on and on and on. And so they are here to help build some resilience into, they don't like it when I say Firewise on steroids, but to me that's what it is. It's Firewise plus. So they'll be here to help in the community. They got, I don't know, another 10 days or so, their team will be here. So, and they're looking for local collaborative, right? So they're going away, we're staying, so.
Thank you for that. So along that lines of service, there are some filters available, right, that the Red Cross did drop off if people need some of those. You can see the chief, and I think they're out here on the side. So, Kirk. I think you should go up front, Kirk.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like to sit there.
All right, good evening, folks. Kirk Flanagan, I'm the agency administrator for the Wapiti Fire. I took the role about August 24th when Rocky Mountain Team 1 came in, who you all know very well. Hopefully, and I'll continue this with this team through their role as an agency administrator. My day job is an area ranger up on the Sawtooth NRA for the last 10 years or so. Hopefully you have all heard the term value-based fire. That is what we're focusing on with this fire. And what I mean by that is we are focusing on protecting the values at risk. Communities here, Bull Trout Campground, Boy Scout Camp, Stanley, Iron Creek, etc. And I say that because we have a lot of resources, 1,400 and so folks on the fire, but we're not just chasing every smoke. So in the Sawtooth Wilderness, we're just not out there chasing that stuff because it's dangerous and there's not a lot of values at risk out there. So we're focusing our efforts on protecting communities and those high values at risk. The last thing I want to say is, so I'm over in Stanley, so how do we make sure that fire leadership is focusing on the Salmon Chalice and on the Boise? So I have a group that works for me. It was Tracy Zimmerly, who is a former ranger here. She has left, so now we have Brian Anderson, who's super familiar with the Boise. So we make sure that we have agency reps covering for the Sawtooth, the Salmon Chalice, and the Boise. So we are making sure that we have focus where the focus needs to be. So with that, Brian, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Kirk. And I'll be brief, but good evening, folks, and thanks for coming. My name is Brian Anderson. I'm a district ranger over in Oregon now, but I grew up in the Boise Valley, and this is really a special place to me. I love coming to Lowman. I grew up camping here, and I used to work on the Boise for about 8 years, and so Lowman's a special place to me. you heard from ops, and you heard from all these folks about the outlook for the fire. And I hope you heard that there's multiple strategies and multiple things going on this fire to try and protect the communities, right? That's really the focus. This part of the fire, this Loman area in the southwest corner, is the #1 priority on this fire, and I want you to know that. You're seeing some black on the map over there in Stanley, and that's fantastic. I'm hopeful you'll see some black on the map here soon as well. It's really challenging terrain is the thing, and so they're doing everything they can right up next to the fire, and they're doing a lot of tremendous work in and around the communities, which is fantastic. And the other thing I noticed is that you all are doing a lot of tremendous work in and around the communities. I saw people just hauling debris, hauling pine needles to the transfer site, doing the grinder. So that's awesome. It feels like a team effort, and that's really cool. There's still a lot of potential, right? We're still in level 2 or a set for some of that sourdough country, and it's a real thing. It could go to a go here, and the chief's aware of that. We've been talking about it. It depends on the fire behavior. We want to make it orderly if it does become a situation where folks are asked to leave their homes. And so we want to give you plenty of time to do that, but be thinking about that. It's a real deal, right? You want to make sure you're thinking about the most important things to bring with you if you're asked to leave. And so keep that in mind. A lot of potential still, but we still have some weather coming, and hopefully that will help us out. The other thing I wanted to mention is that the Boise National Forest is looking at this fire, and we all know that winter will be here eventually, but the effects of this fire won't be over. We're thinking about the highway, we're thinking about the long-term impact of such a large fire on the Boise National Forest. And so just know that the leadership on the forest is committed to investing in that and not losing sight of that, because it is going to be an impact for time to come with the size of the fire that we had along the highway there. And so lastly, just appreciate you're here and know that this meeting is for you. So if you have questions, you want to spend some time, talk with one of the folks up here that's holding the mic, please do that afterwards. That's why we're here, to answer your questions. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jonathan Bruno. He's with a group called Community Mitigation and Assistance Team, and he's going to talk about some of the things that they're doing to a little longer term for this valley in terms of managing fire. So turn it over to Jonathan. Thanks.
Thank you. My name is Jonathan Bruno. I'm from Colorado. I run a nonprofit organization, and I live in a community that looks just like this one. My community outside of Gunnison is, it might be a little lower risk, but you know what? We got a lot of fire. And I have residents and neighbors that I love, and some maybe not as much. And when we talk about fire, and when we talk about community, it's really interesting because there's something that connects us all. It's that we love the place. And it's amazing to me when I came here, we've only been here for a few days, but when I came to this community, that's the first thing I sensed, is that I see you all doing everything you can for each other, not for yourselves. And in this world, I tell you what, that's something special. So one of the things that Community Mitigation Assistance Team is doing, we founded it in 2013, relatively new. The reason we started it, I'm a responder. I've been a responder for 27 years. I kept going into communities, and we kept doing the same work. We were good at it. We're great at it. You guys are doing amazing. Every single time we have a fire, we know what to do. We know how to attack it. We have the resources to do just that. But you know what? I kept going back to the same communities. Paul brought it up. There's been a lot of fire here. There's been a lot of incidents. And what we, all of us, the people in Gunnison, the people in this community need to do is to figure out how we make sure when that next one comes that we're ready. And so CMAT's here to provide some just-in-time mitigation recommendations. So we're providing some site visits right now. And the reason we're doing that is because I care deeply about providing some recommendations of the things that we know, that science tells us, will make sure that your house has a higher probability of survival if that fire does come downhill. And so we're gonna do some of that, but we also want to work with you to help to develop a strategy for the future. So the people that are in this community, all of you working together, when there's no fire, when the sky's clear, when the rains are coming and the fishing and the hunting's good, you guys know that you've done everything you can to be ready. And so Firewise on steroids, I love it. I'd rather, we call it a fire adapted community. That's a community that can receive fire, that we know it's coming and you're ready for it. Ready for the smoke, ready for the people to come in. So I got one question for you. It's not a quiz. What do you think is the most important wildland firefighting asset? Water? Firefighters? So I got a little bit of a jaded opinion. I'm a nonprofit guy, community guy. Most important asset, it's you. So thank you. We're going to be here. Jen, raise your hand. Jen's here. We're going to be here. We're committed. So we have one team member. We have 2 more team members coming. We're going to do home site visits, home site assessments. Sign up for those. And then in the next week, you're going to hear from us. We want you all to come together to figure out that strategy for moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. So like he said, they'll have some information on the back table. Also, before I jump to our incident commanders, there is some other information on the back table. You guys have been under a lot of stress for months now. And so there are some resources if you're feeling stress and fatigue and things that maybe you can do to help make yourself feel better. So if you are interested in those, that's on the back table as well. So now we're going to hear from Mike Johnston. He's our incident commander of Great Basin Team 7, and so we're lucky that he came over from the other side of the mountain, and then we'll hear from Jeff, who is also our incident commander on this side. Sorry, Jeff, I need to give you the credit.
Thanks, Sarah, and good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Mike Johnston, incident commander with Great Basin Team 7. Just want to say a few words and then pass it on to Deputy IC Jeff Knudsen. So first off, want you to know that we spent several days setting up for a good transition with Rocky Mountain Team 1. We've been in charge of the fire for 2 days now, and hopefully you've seen fairly seamless transition, because that was objective 1. Let's hit the ground running, and I feel like we have. You've heard from the team that we're making this side the #1 priority right now, and rightfully so. The values are very much threatened, and the fire is getting closer, so we're sending a lot of resources this way. And part of the reason why we've set up a duplicate team over here on this side, we got team members over on the Stanley side, team members over on this side. We have a spike camp halfway in between, and 1,500 people spread throughout, and shifting more and more resources to this side to take care of the concerns on this side. And I feel like, the Great Basin team is essentially a local team made up of team members from Idaho, Utah, and Nevada primarily, and a lot of us from Idaho. I'm from Idaho as well, and appreciate this area. We're very familiar with the area, and we're going to give you our best as far as fighting this fire and protecting your values. We're committed to that. We have a few challenges ahead of us over the next few days, and then some different kinds of challenges when that weather hits us, and it might impact the travel corridors and our ability to even access the fire if we get a lot of rain. But I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic, that we're turning the corner on this fire, and we're going to be able to protect your values. But again, we all need to be working together. If there is some dynamic situations over the next couple days, let's stay on our toes. And again, we're going to give you our best. I promise you that. Thank you. Jeff?
I hope I get the, you guys hear me?
No. Did you turn it off?
How about now? No. Now it says on. Channel 5. Check, check. There we go. I hope I get the loudest applause because I'm the last speaker. That's all. I promise you, I am the last speaker. I talked to the chief a little bit ahead of time also. When I drove down the valley, I drive this road quite a bit also. I'm from Salmon, and my folks live in Mountain Home, so come through here. But I also had a little bit of flashback because, as the chief mentioned, the fire in 1989, the Loman Complex. My second year as a firefighter, I spent 21 days here also. I'm over by the Loman Inn for 4 or 5, cleaning up there the first few days and a few days by the Loman Ranger Station, and so I spent 21 days. It was my first assignment, my first, not assignment, my first big fire assignment. So it was, even though I drive this road a lot, coming down here is like, it brought back some memories. So that was pretty interesting. Real quick, I wanted to kind of highlight, yes, we do have about a third of our firefighting folks, not just ORED, but firefighters here on this side. I'm helping Mike out, making sure that we're keeping an eye on the objectives and the firefighters. But also I wanted to have some real talk with you this morning, or this evening, excuse me, again, also as I hope you're getting a feeling yet, we're hoping for rain, we're hoping for weather, but the fire that's coming down over the 8 Mile Ridge and coming out of that area, that is a real threat to the valley bottom, and we're doing all we can and have been tying in with what Rocky Mountain team did. Great Basin Team 7's carrying that on, and we're making plans and doing what we can to make sure we're protecting what we can, and also making sure that we're looking ahead 4 or 5 days and even after the fire. So even after the weather that might come, that we're ready. So we're coming down, and we're also looking for opportunities. So we do have plans. We're not just stuck on one, and we're carrying through with it. We have a very flexible operational organization that if the opportunity arises and we can put in a checking line to slow stuff down, we're going to do that too. But we are also in ready for this community from Sourdough on down, and it's a real possibility that we might go into set. So what I'm asking you folks is that we're probably at ready plus for the next 3 or 4 days. So make sure that you're ready, because the firefighters, we're doing all we can and we're ready also. We feel good about the plan. We feel good about the protection. But it's fire. And so to be honest with you, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't have that magic ball. We don't know what the weather's going to bring. We don't know if it's going to be a 1/10 of an inch or an inch. But we're preparing for both. We're preparing for zero. And I hope you realize that. I know you all have a lot of questions. Take your time. We're going to be here. So talk to operations, talk to myself, talk to the CMAD, talk to Jonathan, and see what he has to offer for yourself to prepare over the next few days if you haven't already. We really appreciate the firefighters come in every night. I talk to the operations folks, and believe me, we really appreciate the support that we feel from the folks in this room to the firefighters on the ground and driving, up and down the community. So keep that up. We'll keep working hard day and night for 24 hours a day to do all we can for you. So appreciate it, and please, this question and answer period is important to us. So take some time if you have some good questions, we'll take them, and we'll be here afterwards too to answer them if you don't get time. So thank you.
All right, thanks so much, Jeff. So like you said, for the next 10 minutes, we'll have a kind of a question and answer. And what I do ask, I know you guys are under stress, but keep everything professional kind of to what we are doing with the fire, questions that we can answer, and we want to answer those. So I guess I'll open it up for that time frame, and if no one has any questions and you want to wait till the breakouts, like Jeff said, we'll be all around ready to answer kind of those questions and walk through anything you have. Is that a question? I feel like an auctioneer. I'm sorry. Like
one thing I wanted to say is the workers out there that have been running lines and everything around our homes have been very, very nice people. And I have to say that. Thank you very much. This says regards to Highway 21 over to Stanley. So are you saying that it is really damaged to the point where we may not be able to access that until way into winter?
no, Brittle.
Right now, the road is passable, but there has been areas where the fire did affect it, with some big trees coming down in it. As I said earlier, the Idaho Department of Transportation will be coming up here tomorrow to assess some of the areas where we had some big trees come down. The road's open for now. We're just gonna have to see what happens. If the rain comes in, an inch after rain on Black Hill sides, could present a whole new set of problems for it. But right now, it's still passable.
did that address it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can
Okay.
This highway through here, the Forest Service owns the highway. It doesn't belong to the state highway. It's a contract. All, this Highway 21 through here belongs to the Forest Service. But, yeah, we just have a contract with the state to maintain.
I did not know that. Easements. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you.
If there's if we can identify potential pain points, maybe it'll help mitigate like any fires when it comes through here. Is there anybody that we could contact and be like, hey, I need like 4 or 5 guys to Jason Point fence break right up here. If we slash through fence break, clean it up, we could double the amount of pressure of water that we have going through. Is there anybody we can talk to? Be like, hey, can we get somebody over there? Maybe help out. I'm just as I know there's a bunch of my neighbors. We go up there. We got chainsaws, all kinds of stuff. We have 4 or 5 guys clear out some brush that's downfall. Real helpful.
Yeah, so the question was if you know of areas that might be helpful, absolutely. So where's our liaisons? So Jay Pence would be the contact if you've not, and then he can help coordinate that. Thank you, Jay. Thank you.
We are at mile marker 81. Is there an update on the Miller fire?
Miller.
Oh, a couple days ago.
Miller a couple days ago. I know they have a line around it, and it hasn't grown.
I think that's accurate, right? That's they got a line around it. It's right behind the ranger station. They got a line
the one
around
really
it.
close.
I don't think the forest is concerned with it. So.
Right. So it's lined, and it hasn't moved since then. But I know that happened with the lightning storm. So maybe kind of on those points, the Middle Fort complex is still within its containment lines. The Nellie fire, they did send resources to the lava fire that you've probably seen popping up over here. So that one is growing a little bit, the lava fire, but the Nellie fire is still within her containment, the containment lines. All right, I saw another.
Hi, thanks for all you're doing, and I'm grateful for the mitigation team and everything that was said. I'm trying to do everything I can, but I want to be as prepared as I can. I also want to say Lohman, it's just kind of funny when people say going into Lohman, because we're in Lohman right now. Just FYI, I don't know if that bothers anybody, but I appreciate that you're addressing us as a community. I'm curious about the ready, set, go. I mean, I know what it means, but exactly how far it is now. This is addressing,
Questions about ready, set, and go, and we have these communities here in set, and that is it's a fluid situation. I mean, every day we're getting up and assessing where the fire's at, what it's doing, looking at the weather, and that can change rather quickly. And that's what, as a community, we need to be prepared for. Is we can look at the fire someday, get some sort of forecast, thinking it's going to do this, and then all it takes is that one tree, that one snag that's way up on the hillside to come down and put fire in a place we weren't anticipating. So my advice to everyone here is just, I mean, always be ready and set when you have a large fire like this that's close to you, and just be prepared because we never know what can happen out on these lines, and what can happen can have an adverse effect, and it can happen really quickly. So
I have a
I have a follow-up question as it relates to the Miller fire. I actually helped do the cleaning at the Forest Service office, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's all this going on? I'm very close to that, and I thought I read something that area is set to, or level 2. You're shaking your head.
I have not. I don't even know what the Miller Fire is.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
okay.
Sheriff.
Sheriff. Oh, okay.
Do you want to say really briefly about the?
Okay, the night of the Miller fire, which was 2 nights ago, the Forest Service put their residents on level 2 and relaxed it the next morning.
Okay.
That's it. So something unique about the Miller fire, since everybody watched it, one of the hotshot crews that burned that off this spring had recommended a no-go. They said, too much smoke impact on the valley. Heavy fuels, we don't want to do it. We want to wait till fall. Thank God they burned it off this spring.
Thank you.
All right, I know those kind of 10 minutes is a little bit short for questions, but like we said, we will stay around. We do have maps with some of those ready, set, go statuses, so that might be good to look at. Like I said, I know they're changing. The sheriff's around if you want to talk to him about that. We've got Idaho Power, CMAT, our ops, FBAN. So please come find us. We're here for you. We really want to try to alleviate as much stress as we possibly can.